This Showtime original program contains strong language and mature subject matter. Showtime suggests viewer discretion.
Well, hey, sugar, come in and sit down. Be careful, there's an Avon lady out there on a rampage. God, I told her I was trying to quit. She asked me my name. I said it's Maxine Satterwhite, but shit, you don't need to know that. Just pick up the phone book. It ain't but an eighth of an inch thick, and all the names in it are the same. Good God. I sent CC over to Reno this weekend. It's his 50th birthday, and I bought him a whore, a big old $50 whore, too, to match his age. You know, he'd probably die of a stroke right in the middle of it. I don't care. Life's hard, but it's good. No, get yourself something to drink. I've got all I need right here. I quit drinking. I did. I had to quit drinking. I run over Edna's puppy. Well, it wasn't really her puppy. It was her boy Dwight. She used to keep him tied up out back. Little son of a bitch used to yap and like to drove me up a wall. I couldn't stand it no more. One day I told CC I got him to carry me visiting. He took me over to Florine's house. You remember her? Florine and Boron live over in Element, North Carolina. Hun, that Florine ain't feeling good. She waited till she was 47 years old to have her first baby, and the child ain't right. But CC's good to that baby, though. He goes out back and plays with it and fetches it when the chickens start to tease it. I told Florine 100 times, I said, poultry is hateful, but she don't listen. She never listens. Anyhow, when CC carried me back, it was raining and drumming down on top of the trailer and going crazy. I look out the window, and that little puppy boy, or whatever the hell it was, had wrapped around Junior's tetherball set in the backyard. Lord, it was a sight. I ain't proud to tell you this part. I went in there and did a double shot of Jack Daniels, went and got in the Chevy Blazer and backed out over its head. But I had to back out over it twice because that boy had a big head. Well, it's still big, but it's flat now with the dip down in the middle of it. And you know, it took him 8 hours, but CC hooked that thing up where we can pick up 20 brand new cable channels on it. I'm telling you, life's hard, but it's good.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm San Francisco welcome to Brett Butler.
So kind. You are so kind. It is so great to be here. They asked me where I wanted to do the special, and I said, please, please, the city on the bay. It's terrific here. I love it. And it's springtime, so I'm very happy. That's all the ass kissing you're getting out of me. I am glad. It's a big city, but it's not. It's still kind of country here. That's why I like it, because I've lived away. Well, I mean, I was born in Alabama and raised in Georgia. I'm so Southern, I'm related to myself, for Christ's sakes. Grew up Southern Baptist with a big picture of Elvis's Last Supper in our living room. Usually that one irate Baptist going, you can make fun of Jesus, but you leave the king out of it. You godless whore. But like any Southerner who departed, I want credit for getting out. It's a little bit. I mean, it's nice. I mean, you know, I think about it. I have such mixed feelings about where I come from. You know, I was going to write a book called When Beautiful Places Happen to Bad People. But of all places, I moved to New York 9 years ago. I mean, I travel around. I know L.A., here, Houston, Chicago. I live in New York City. I moved to New York because I thought New York would be devoid of the intolerance and racism that I grew up with in the South. New York is like a bigot's buffet, pretty much. You could take the biggest redneck you ever met to New York, and they'd be like, well, shit, this is great. I can hate everybody. Oh, God, there's colors of people here I never dreamed of setting fire to. And the first show I ever did in New York, it is like it is on TV. It's not stereotyped. I went to Brooklyn to do this show. I was there like 2 weeks, and the whole audience was filled with these gorgeous 18-year-old mustachioed Sicilian carnivores and their boyfriends. And they were precious. I finished my show. They were so cute. And this guy comes up like, hey, you from where? Yo, Dominic, listen to her. I would never go down south because people sound so fucking stupid when they talk. What do you say? How in the world are you? You're like, oh, Arturo, Prince of Irony. But at least in New York, they don't have those fur brains I grew up next door to, those guys who wore T-shirts that say, "Shit, Bubba, let's go kill something." They're in New York, but they're cops, and they're really easy to spot. What, wrong coast? Think about that. I've changed since I've been there. Like, oh, this is true. When I first moved to New York, I stopped a mugging, like 3 months after I got there. And when the cop came to the scene, he like yelled at me about it. He goes, "You know, you could have been hurt and all this." I'm sitting there going, "Andy Griffith would fire you so fast." It is that whole big city thing. I mean, like, I've lived there a lot. I live in cities. I work in cities all the time. It's changed. Okay, I'll tell you, this happened. I was walking in Midtown one day, and I bumped into this guy pretty hard. And before I had a chance to apologize, well, I had to run into him because a cab had just run up on the curb and killed the 2 people I was walking with. But, you know, it's a big city. You just keep moving. And besides, that's 2 less people at the audition, isn't it? And I turned around to say I was sorry, and there's this like really handsome ebony man standing there, and I go, "Listen, I'm sorry I ran." Oh my God, his shirt just has one of those, you know, like think about it shirts. It said, "It's a black thing, you wouldn't understand it." And have you seen those? I got so defensive, I was like, well, maybe I understand. Maybe that's why I left the South, and I hate bigots so much. I am one, and I've read Maya Angelou and James Baldwin and Richard Wright, and I love Malcolm X. How about not telling me what I understand? And then I realized that the day before my period's probably not a really good time to drink some, because he started running, and are we gonna get that divisive before it's over with? Are we all gonna cop the Tude shirt? You know, it's like it'll be, instead of "it's a black thing, you wouldn't understand it," it's an Italian thing, forget about it. It's a Jewish thing, don't worry about it. Or it's a Southern thing. Well, what is it? I read Spike Lee said that if you're white, you can't understand Malcolm X. I disagree, but I wouldn't to his face because I'm a big ass kisser. And because, you know, Malcolm X is great, and to me, he's being like, you know, minimized by everybody walking around with these shirts with the black hats with the X's on them. What next, little white rednecks with hats with Y's, thereby everyone indicating the chromosome that they're missing. Guess how many cities I could do that joke in? These guys in Lubbock right now going, what was that last one she did? Oh yeah, I'm in the hell of a happy marriage. My husband's terrific. God, he's dull. He is so sweet. It is disgusting. And you know what? I will tell you why. Do you want to know how this marriage works? I will tell you, all of you. It works because this is my second marriage. And you know, you let one dog get away, you're gonna build a taller fence and put better food out. That's just... I know that's radically progressive thinking. And we get along because we like different things. That old thing about opposites attracting, it is the truth too. From little things like the kind of music that we listen to, like I like weird stuff, I like opera and bluegrass and salsa. And my husband likes Pat Metheny. And well, we were riding in a car up to his parents. Well, see, I'm married to a New Yorker, and my husband's Jewish, and don't think his parents aren't thrilled shitless with me, by the way. Look who's coming to Hanukkah! Yeehaw! Oh, his parents were sweet, but you could tell it was like a divorced, oldest Southern Gentile comedian with the bleach job. Well, son, why didn't you just shoot us in our sleep? We were driving up to his parents' house, and I was listening to Madame Butterfly and weeping copiously, as I always do. And I looked at my husband. You'd think you know the guy. 8 years, right? I look at him and go, I wonder why opera always makes me cry. And he looked at me and said, it's probably the loss of the banjos. Just when you think they spend their lives in silent awe of your ass. So if I tell you any jokes about my first husband, now people have accused me of telling them to fulfill some perfunctory ex-husband material. This kind of hatred isn't born overnight. You must coax it with rusty forceps from a womb of malcontent. That was vivid, wasn't it, children? I was married really young. Well, I was 19, that's young here, but in Georgia, I was a spinster. I was, too. I was married to a redneck from a place called Bunny Kill, Alabama. I am serious. I'm not making this up. Oh, that I were. And maybe I shouldn't say redneck. Maybe that's simplistic and pejorative. I shall elaborate. I wasn't married to a redneck. I was married to a subliterate terracotta-toothed imbecile with violent tendencies. Wait, other words are coming to mind. I was married to a simian, knuckle-dragging, cousin-fucking, dog-selling, mother-loving, trailer-dwelling, brainless amoeba on the booger farm of the bayou. That might sound mean, but I assure you my ex-husband does not understand hyphenated references. Yes, my Rabelaisian wit was all but lost on him. I knew it wouldn't work. I used to introduce him as my first husband while we were still together. Just to watch this dim, confused look appear in his eyes. Oh, wait a minute, if... Oh, shit, I got a headache now. He used to watch fishing shows and pay attention. I fished, I've watched the shows, but I didn't sit there utterly mesmerized by the entire process. He would watch a fishing show with jaws agape, like, I wonder what they're gonna do next. Honey, they're probably gonna catch a big fish and let it go, you reckon? Have you seen it before? Don't tell me what happens. Have you ever seen one of these shows? I think the first time a woman sees a fishing show, it's always inadvertent. It's like you're flipping channels, you know, and you go, all right, two guys in a boat. Something will happen in a minute. Swear to God, it's a half hour. Shh. It don't get no better than this. Well, apparently you've never seen a nipple real close up before. Because, as we say in Georgia, me and my little sister make you forget that trot line, buddy. Well, they have these Canadian fishing shows. These guys don't know when to quit. These guys are like, oh, you don't even know it's a fishing show. You just see a guy stand there in a parka in a blizzard going, yup, we're doing some fishing about a mile from the North Pole, eh? We just, it's about 80 below. We just drilled a 40-foot hole through this ice and caught 6 crappie. There they are. My pecker fell off a half hour ago. And then later in the den, they'll show you, well, we put that big crappie up on the wall there and went ahead and nailed my pecker to a piece of wood right under it. Well, the fish is bigger on account of the cold and all, you know. Thank you, and what comedy show would be complete without that frozen penis reference, I asked you? They're so in vogue now. Hard to believe me and Tipper Gore are from the same place, isn't it? Unlike Tipper, I've been a blonde for this long. You look at Tipper Gore and you think, when she was pledging Kappa Kappa spank me, you know, I was losing my virtue in the back of a pickup truck holding onto a gun rack, looking at a picture of a buck deer drinking from a stream, saying things like, is the safety on? I've lived quite a life. So confusing politically. Well, it isn't really, but they lead us to think. I'm such a hypocrite. I'm a socialist with a gold card. I think we need a revolution, but I am so scared I couldn't find good moisturizer after one happens. Wasn't much of a fight this year, actually. I was thinking that. I heard that idiot Pat Robertson say AIDS is God's way of controlling the homosexual population. I'm going, right, like they reproduce like bunnies. Our president, there's a card, huh? Doesn't Bill Clinton remind you of a guy? I'm like, there's enough women in this room to dig this. Doesn't Bill Clinton remind you of a guy you meet in a bar? He's trying to pick you up, and you know, every word out of his mouth is a lie, but you just don't want to go home by yourself. And just as you're leaving the bar, you go, okay, sport, are you married? And he goes, well, it's funny you ask. When I was a boy in Hope, you're like, shut up, I'll fuck you anyway, come on. Hard to believe I was spawned in the Bible Belt, huh? they have little Christmas stores open 12 months out of the year where you can go buy Christmas things. What fertile mind invented this, that nausea that can now be 365 days a year? One of my sisters, well, there's 5 of us. My sister is a born-again interior decorator. God help us all. I'm not making it up. And she sends my favorite little, well, my only nephew is so cute, Blake. She sends him, my nephew, to a French-speaking daycare center in Alpharetta, Georgia. Even if it works, what will he turn out like, you know? Well, como talez-vous, y'all? Well, Shazam, God damn it. Some little Gomer Descartes walking around like, I chew, therefore I am. It was weird. We went down there for Christmas because if you take somebody Jewish, you can charge ticket prices. And we went down there for Christmas, and we were going to go see the manger scene, which seems really innocuous, a little Protestant festival we all know and love. So you know where they put the mangers now? Not at the town hall or churches. They put them in the malls. Holy, holy, holy. The birth of our Lord combined with retail sales and holiday markdown prices. Hallelujah, Emmanuel. You know, like, we go, and there's this cute little manger in a 3-story mall. I'm like, I hope you're not looking, you know. And it's got the little manger. It had this giant, I guess whoever decorated it didn't think it looked busy enough, so they put like this 40-foot paper mache candy cane over the top of it, just like in the book of Matthew. And it had like flashing lights, you know, the wise men are singing Losing My Religion. You know, I'm just going, this is great. Now my nephew starts leaning on this big paper mache candy cane, and well, he didn't know it's spiritually significant or anything. He starts leaning on it, and I saw the bottom of it breaking away, and I probably should have said something, but you know, so I was bored, and he's not my child, so it had to be done. Well, it didn't hurt anybody, but the candy cane fell over on top of the manger, and when it did, the head of the little baby Jesus snapped off and rolled into JCPenney's. And I was the only one who laughed. I was dying. And this woman vapor locked. She was like, don't nobody touch it. It is sacred. It is holy. And I said, well, maybe that's where the phrase holy roller comes from. And if you've got kids, my poor sister, if you have a kid and they act up in public, parents turn into ventriloquists because my sister went, goodness, darling, what did you do? The woman's like, I'll tell you what he's done. He's just decapitated our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I would take that boy outside and whoop his butt till he yells. You know, she must be fun at Easter. And my sister looks down and goes, don't you ever do that again. What are the odds, any of this? Next year, I'm leaving you home with the babysitter, n'est-ce pas? Oh, it still kept, so they had the baby Jesus. Oh, yeah, so it keeps rolling into JCPenney's, into the lingerie department, underneath a dressing room door. It was awful, and there's inside there, just bless his heart, there's this man in there putting on a slip. He's not hurting anybody, but can you picture that poor bastard having this maiden form experience? Sees the head of the baby Jesus with a halo on it come rolling in and stopping at his feet. Now, wouldn't you think that changed his life forever? Or at least got him to rephrase his wishes a little more specifically. You know, he's like, well, God, when I said a little head, that really isn't what I was talking about. The older I get, the more I ascertain that the line between being bitchy and helpful is truly thin. I'll give you an example. One of my best girlfriends got married about 6-7 months ago, and this fully functioning, assertive woman who could dress herself basically has started baby talking in front of us. My husband and I went over to their house for dinner, and her husband went into the kitchen, a sortie of, 12 whole feet. And she said, when oo comes back, would oo bring me some cream to put in my coffee? Pretty peas? And I went, and could you bring some Bactine? Because when I pull the steak knife out of her eyeball, there's probably gonna be a little burning feeling right after. She swears that they never fight, which just, you know, is not only sick, but impossible, you know. She said, one time he raised his voice to me. And I said, and what did you do? I didn't do anything. I was trying to locate my anger. You know, there's such a thing as too much therapy. Remember when locating a G-spot was more fun? Wouldn't it be terrible if those things were right next to each other? You'd be like, oh yeah, honey, do it. Oh, you son of a bitch. Sorry, you went too far. Oh, yeah, so this is great. They've been married maybe 2 months, and like I was on another call, and she like bleeped me in. She's crying. I go, oh, wait, I'll be right there. So I get on the phone, and I go, what is it? And she's like, it's really terrible. I think I'm gonna have to leave him. And I go, just simmer down. I've been married before, chill. It's probably nothing. You know, sure enough. I go, just take a breath. What is it? She went, he leaves the lid up. I said, is that all? Well, yeah. And I go, you go in there and you put the lid down and you get on with life because it's very short. Go now. No, I think it's latent hostility. I've asked him not to do it. I go out, I come home, and the lid is up, and I am very upset. I said, you know, I'm not trying to minimize your pain or anything, but when he starts hitting you and fucking your sister, call me back. Yes, I did say how old I was. I do not care. Will I ever get to the point where I'll start lying about it? I hate that. I know a woman who's 28 and says she's 20. If she started now, it'll never end. Besides, 35 is cool. 35 is, according to the articles, when women reach their sexual peak. And this would be great if, according to the same articles, men reach theirs at 17. Proving that if there is a God, it's a man with a sick sense of humor. Well, besides, where am I going to meet a 17-year-old guy? More importantly, what would I ever say to one? I know where they congregate. I've done some research. You know the ones at the grocery stores that bag the stuff for you? The ones with the little bow tie and the apron and the name tags and buns like muffin tins? Yeah, now. Do you ever just want to go up to one and go, come here, I could hurt you. Here. I'll yell back at construction workers now. You don't do that when you're young. And construction workers, something about being outside with other men just makes them want to say these creative and lascivious things to you. And when you're like a really young woman and you walk by, you're filled with that youthful female indignation. You know, you go, stop it. This is not for you. This is for my beloved. God, how third world. You walk off in that little Oxy 5 huff, you know. You get to be my age and they're still saying things, you're so grateful. You're just like, what? Thank you. You want to do what with me in that wheelbarrow? You want me to be the wheelbarrow? Well, all right, I got a minute. It's great, because then they're embarrassed. They're like, lady, I got to put up a building. I was kidding. Jesus, she heard me. I went over to London this year. 5 American comedians went over there and did this TV show, and I really liked it. It was weird going over there. I get off the plane, everyone looks like me. I go, oh, this is the cracker box I come from. And actually, my family's half Irish and half Swedish. We're all alcoholic, but we're real quiet about it. So I get off stage over in London, I did this show, and this woman comes up to me and said, you know, we enjoyed your performance, but we found you a bit aggressive. And I said, oh, well, how fucking unfortunate. Pity. And by the way, I'm glad my ancestors had the sense to get in a boat 250 years ago and leave this inbred, pasty-faced, island-bound, tiara-worshipping bunch of and then they pull me away, you know, saying, you simply cannot speak to the Queen that way. Thank you. You're laughing. They're going, that was so rude. I'm like, and then I think about that. Well, we have that equivalent here. We have what I call lizard women. You know, those ones who've had so much cosmetic surgery, they're not even biodegradable anymore. You know? I call them lizards because their necks start to look like that. They do. They look like big Komodo dragons with Chanel accessories. I swear they do. You've seen them. They come into clubs, they're like, we'd love to laugh at your little jokes, but our stitches will fly everywhere. No, it's true. Tell her, Muriel, last week I let loose a guffaw and my tit flew clear across the room. Right? And you know, I figured out who their daughters are, or their children anyway. You know those kids who spray us with cologne in department stores against our will? Doesn't that chap your ass? I hate that so much. I go, I try, you know the ones with the little things, you know, I try and be nice. I go, look, I know you're young, I know this is your job and it's important to you, but if you take another step towards me with that spray bottle, I'll pull out my lighter and put it on high. You have to give them a full minute to assess the damage of that chemical impact. They're like, uh-oh. And they don't even have to sell anything either. That's what I love. They think if they say the name of the cologne will be edified in this celestial way. You know when they come up and go, obsession. Shut up. You are 17, I am 35. You do not know what obsession is yet. It's not in a bottle. Come here, little babysitter precious. I will tell you what obsession is. Obsession is roaming around the bushes outside of a married man's house at midnight with a machete in one hand and a jar of Vicks Vapor Rub in the other. Now go tell your daddy that. And tell him to call me. Well, what a lovely way to say goodnight. Thank you very much. You've been great. Thank you. Well, don't that make you want to go out and buy some strawberry douche?